Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Jacklene. Welcome to my Nashville home. Let me show you around.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I am Jacklene Creekmore. I'm the founder of Modafleur. We sell jewelry, tabletop linens, and women's clothing. With this house, previously we were living in a more urban neighborhood called 12 South in Nashville. And we had just had our second son, so I was about 8 weeks postpartum, and we knew with two boys, we needed to find a little bit of a bigger space, a house with a bigger yard, and a quieter street. And this house, I think it was up for sale for a while because previously it was rented out by a lot of different people. I feel like a lot of people overlooked it, but my husband saw it and he's like, why don't we take a look at this space? And then he brought me over and we just fell in love with it. We saw like the bones of the house and we knew that there was something that we could do with it. I am inspired by color and texture and pattern. So when you go throughout our house, you'll see a lot of those elements at play. And then I like to bring in different pieces that have a little bit of history to them or from my husband and I love to travel and we both are from out of state. So we like to incorporate a little bit of our background in the house as well. Welcome to the entry of our home. Funny enough, we just recently designed this space. It actually was the last space that we designed. My designer, Blair Parks, and I knew that we wanted to do something different and something that really set the tone of the house. So when you walk in, you kind of got an idea of what the rest of the house was going to look like. And it's kind of a big entryway, so I wanted to do something bold. So the first thing that she showed me was this really cool wallpaper by Lee Joja. And I just love the zigzag and the geometric shapes. Green's one of my favorite colors, so that spoke to me as well. And then we added grass cloth on the ceiling to kind of balance it out. We got this amazing entry table here that serves as a welcoming to the space. For each holiday, it's decorated a little bit different. Sometimes we have Halloween stuff on here or Christmas stuff. We change it out for the season. And then we have this antique chair that Blair sourced from Virginia Richardson, who's a local antique dealer here in Nashville. She has a showroom and she's one of Blair's good friends and has incorporated different antiques throughout the house. But Blair and I just love the yellow and how it ties into the dining room and a little bit into the study, which we'll see in a little bit. And then we replaced all the light fixtures in the house. That's one thing that we changed over really quickly. And for the entryway, we wanted something just simple and chic. I love brass, so we did a lantern from Visual Comfort. And then the last thing that I wanted to point out is this antique painting by Roger Richardson. Again, it's from Virginia Richardson showroom, and we just love the colors that are in it. It incorporates a lot of the colors that you'll see throughout our house, green, blue, with pops of red. So for this house, we had to move in within a month, so I needed to act quickly, and one of my husband's good friends, his wife, was an interior designer. So I reached out to Blair Parks, who's the owner of Parks and Lamb here in Nashville, and basically was like, we have 1 month to try to do as much as we can to this house before we move in. And really, after we started working, it snowballed into us working together for 6 years. So it's really been a great partnership, and Blair has really helped me transform this house into a house that our family loves and really feels a lot like us. And this is our dining room. My husband and I love to entertain. It's my love language. We love to have parties. You'll see on my Instagram that I host many a dinner party here, and I love to really lean into it and kind of transform the space. I work with a local Nashville florist. Her name's Margot, and her business is Mary Mabel Flowers, and her and I have teamed up together for every dinner party, and she did the florals here. So I have the table set just like I would if I were having a party. I have one of our Modafleur table linens right here. This is our fall floral table linen. And just like with the house, when I'm doing tablescaping, I really love to play with color, texture. I like to do stuff that's unexpected. So even if it's Christmas, I like to surprise you and use different colors or textures that you wouldn't necessarily see for that particular holiday. And I love to add in a lot of layers. So for this particular tablescape, we've added in fruit. We have the different types of flowers, and they're all different textures and sizes. I like to add in candles. I found these striped lanterns on Etsy that I just think are so cool and a different texture for the table. And I also love to collect tableware and different ceramics. So I got these plates on a trip to Puglia, Italy. These are Nicola Fasano plates. And my husband and I had the pleasure of going to where they make these beautiful ceramics, and I just absolutely loved it. Like, had the hardest time leaving this place without a million different plates. I'm pretty sure he's tired of me collecting all these plates, but it's, you know, something that I just love to do, and I love to have different patterns. I love collecting glassware, so you can see I have Estelle glassware. She's based out of Charleston, and she's one of my favorites. I got these fun cups from another small business, Arc Elements. And when I am hosting parties, I try to outsource as much as possible. So I outsource the flowers, and I usually get the party either catered or hire a chef. I want to really be present for my parties and not be stressed out and worrying about food. So I try to take all of that off the table, and so I'm able to just kind of focus on the decor and create a beautiful setting that people feel happy and kind of transform the space. We'll bring in some entertainment. We've had a girl doing glitter bar here. We've done different games. We've hired a tarot card reader for Halloween. I do a Halloween party every year. So we really have a lot of fun with it. And this particular table has a leaf that we can add in if we have more people, and we'll bring in these host chairs at the end. And Blair and I really wanted to add some different texture with these chairs. We did the green velvet and put fun pattern texture fabric right below, and we'll bring these chairs and put them at the head of the table when we have more people here. And then I just love the side chairs that Blair picked out. I love the rattan background. You'll see that incorporated throughout the house, that we're always trying to find different kinds of textures in the furniture and layer in the patterns and the colors as well. This chest we've had for a while, and it's filled with a bunch of different plates from all my collections. And we also have visual comfort lights in here. The sconces are visual comfort. Our chandelier is by Visual Comfort, and it's the Jacklene. I love how it's kind of adding a whimsical touch to the space. And then the white of the chandelier kind of softens the rest of the room, which is the main thing that we picked out this room was the wallpaper. This is Cole & Sons wallpaper. And when Blair and her partner Susan showed me the wallpaper, I was obsessed with it because I felt like it was just so bold and different and something that I hadn't seen before. It kind of reminded me of Italy, which is a favorite place of mine. And I love green. I have a hard time not doing green everywhere in our house. It's one of my favorite colors. And I knew for this space that I wanted to do green. So we matched the trim to the wallpaper with Farrow and Ball called green. It's a paint color that a lot of people ask me about on Instagram. I feel like it's just such a beautiful color, and we did it in high gloss, which is my favorite. I try to add gloss paint wherever I can. I just feel like it looks so chic and beautiful. And then we just added a simple curtain in here. Another thing that I wanted to show you is my first piece of artwork that I got. This is by a dear friend of mine, Blair Wheeler. She's also a Nashville local. She did this artwork for my husband and I shortly after we moved to Nashville, and it's one of her signature pieces. Of course, I had to have a lot of color in it, and I just love the different flecks of gold in it as well. And I feel like it just looks so beautiful in this space, and when we're eating at the table, we can enjoy her pretty artwork and admire it. Okay, so welcome to our living room, otherwise known as the great room, where we really spend most of our time in our house. So this room is the biggest space in the house and the space that really overwhelmed me the most when we moved in, because I was like, we need a ton of furniture for this space. Originally, we had these white bookshelves. The TV was over to the right. They weren't really functional, and they didn't really look that great. So I knew that we needed to replace those. And then originally there was this huge kind of Baroque fireplace that was very massive and kind of overtook the full space. So I knew that we had to replace that. So once we had been living in the house, that was one of the first projects that Blair Parks and I did, is redo the fireplace. So this is a custom mantle made by a company called Francois. And it was quite the undertaking to watch them do that. And then since we had the wood burning fireplace in the study, I thought it would be fun to switch up this fireplace and do the fireballs with the herringbone brick pattern in the back. Since this room is so big, I knew that I couldn't wallpaper it, so we left it Benjamin Moore Swift Coffee white. And then I wanted to have a really big moment with the bookshelves. So we redid the bookshelves in a really cool blue color that's just, I feel like, a big moment when you're in this room, and just gives us a lot of different styling options. We'll switch this around multiple times throughout the year. We love to have antique books in here, family photos. These are antique French canisters that Blair and Virginia sourced for me. I like to collect different prints from when we travel. So this is a print from France. This is a little piece of artwork from a local Nashville artist. And I like to incorporate different elements with these bookshelves and throughout the house. So we have the French canisters, kind of some Chinese influence, and different coffee table books. I'm obsessed with collecting those as well. So it's just a fun way to kind of incorporate them in this space. Another fun piece that I really love in this space is this bench. I just think it's so cool and like a really modern shape. And I love that we were able to kind of have a piece in front of the fireplace and just more seating available. Since we do a lot of hosting, a lot of people gather in this space, and I feel like we're always pulling up chairs. And my kids end up sitting here a lot of times watching TV. They also love these fun antique chairs. This was another piece that we added in a little bit later, and just a way to kind of incorporate some age in the space. The couches are Lee Industry. We've had these for years, but one fun thing that Blair came up with was to add the contrasting trim and the fringe on the bottom again. So another fun detail that I love, and it was a way to refresh an old piece that we've had for a while. Another piece that I'm obsessed with is this console table. I just love that it has original paint on it. It's from the 1800s, and it's from Spain. I think it's just so cool, and it just fits this space really well. And it's another area that I can restyle when I want to change things up, or for the holidays, we'll incorporate Christmas or Halloween items on there as well. This little guy is by Kiwi Murphy. She's a local artist in Nashville. My kids call this guy Mushroom Man. I just think it's so cool and a way to add a more sculptural element in the space. I think it's really fun. And one thing that Blair has really pushed me to do in the house is get some new colors, because if it was up to me, I would do everything in green and blue. So she's pushed me to add some red into the space. So we've done that with our little mushroom guy, and then also with these fun lampshades that are from Moore. and I just think they're so cool. Another thing that I love that we found are these really cool chairs, again by Lee Industries, and they're covered in a Rebecca Atwood fabric. And as you can imagine, being a fashion designer, I love textiles, and I just think this one's so cool and different with the modern shapes. And it adds, the couches are a little bit traditional, and I feel like these chairs are a little more modern. So I like it to be not so expected and to kind of switch things up throughout the room. This was sourced by Annalisa, who is a Nashville antique dealer as well. And it's like bringing in the different red elements into the room. So it goes with our lamps and then our red side table here, and also the chairs that you guys saw earlier. Another piece of artwork that I wanted to mention is this piece by Jamie Johnson. He is a Scottish artist. One of my friends, Susan, who lives in Nashville, went to Scotland and discovered this artist in a cafe, and she told me about him. And I was just obsessed with this artwork. I love all the colors. I think it's, you don't really know what's going on, so it's a little bit surprising and just has some fun elements to it. But I really was drawn to the blue and the blush tones in this piece of artwork. And I think this is just a interesting, tough space to design. Originally, there was a bar in here that we took out, and we added a bar off our dining room. So we knew that we didn't want to have a bar area here. So we had a hard time kind of trying to come up with what to do here. So we added this chair and a little light, and we have the artwork above, and this is where we end up putting our Christmas tree during the holidays. So I feel like this space has definitely come a long way since we moved in. Now we'll go into our powder room. It's a little bit narrow, but so originally when we moved in this room was very dark, all black, and it had a vanity on the floor. It's kind of a unique space. It's a little bit smaller because it's tucked under the stairs, and it backs up to our kitchen. So when we were renovating the house, we couldn't add any more space here, so we had to be a little bit creative. So Blair came up with the idea to do this floating sink. It took the contractor a couple times to get it right and find the perfect little sink in here, but it turned out great. I'm obsessed with it. Also, I think the powder room is a really cool place to put a fun wallpaper. And so Blair found this Lindsay Cowles wallpaper in this cat print that I just love. And we matched the blue in the wallpaper with the trim. And then we put visual comfort sconces in here as well. And then this is just a print of Magnolia Plantation Gardens, which is where my husband and I got married in Charleston, South Carolina. And I just think it's a cute little powder room that has really transformed since when we originally moved in. And now we can go into the kitchen. So the kitchen, we did a full gut job. So after we renovated all of the bathrooms, the last thing on our list was the kitchen. And the kitchen had a few different issues in it. One was the pantry was this weird little closet that was off to the corner. It had a dual sink that wasn't really functional for our family. And it was just a little dated and needed some updating. So we completely gutted this space. We kept everything kind of where it was. We incorporated the pantry into the different cabinetry, so it's hidden away, and we actually got more space that way instead of having the weird closet pantry back there. When we started renovating the space, one of the main requests that I had for Blair was open shelving. As I mentioned earlier, when I'm traveling, I love to collect ceramics and different glassware and things for my travels. I love setting tables. So I wanted to have a space to display all of that and for it to feel kind of like a marketplace or a store. So Blair put these open shelves in the back. And another cool thing that she came up with, because we have two large spaces that are kind of back to back with very big ceilings, was having jointed wood put up in the ceiling in different widths. And I thought that was just a really cool way to add a contrast between these ceilings and kind of put more texture and create more difference in the space. Another cool thing that Blair picked out was this tile from Kenny & Co. in Nashville. And I just fell in love with it when she showed me because I love, like I mentioned, I love ceramics, and it looks like it's from Italy or Spain, and I just think it's so cool. And basically we based a lot of the kitchen design around this tile, and it's still one of my favorite things in this space. So once we picked the tile, we decided on the paint color. And for this kitchen, I knew that I wanted to do a color, and I wanted to do green. So we tested a few different paint colors in the space, and we landed on Pharaoh and Ball Pigeon. And I just think it's so beautiful. It's not like an overpowering green. It's very soft. It feels warm. We obviously spend a lot of time here as a family, or if we're hosting parties. And I just feel like it feels much like me and my aesthetic and design. So if you want to come over to these shelves, I love to style these out as I collect things from traveling or just from different small businesses. I love to support small businesses as well. So I have glasses from Estelle again. These bowls are from my friend Helena Home. She is based out of Houston, Texas. I also have more Italian ceramics from Nicola Fasano. I'll put different cookbooks here, but as I'm hosting for parties or different events, I'll pull things from this space. This is obviously like where we pull our regular glassware from. And then we carry the jointed wood from the ceiling down the back of the shelves, and I feel like it kind of ties the whole space together. We also added antique brass fixtures and hardware so it would age better and it wouldn't look messy with kids. And then we got these really cool stools from Mainly Baskets. I love that they're woven and add a different texture in the kitchen. We did these uppers with pyramid domes, and this was quite a project. We had a local carpenter, Mike Cena, do all the cabinetry in the kitchen. And at first, when Blair presented him this pyramid design, he was like, I don't know if I can do that. And it took a couple tries, and I think it's just, he nailed it. I like having these different cabinets here and then having all of these look the same and very nice and chic. I had a hard time deciding what lanterns to put over the island because I knew that I wanted to do a color in the kitchen. And so we went through actually a couple different lanterns in this space and landed on these ones from Oomph. I think they add a nice whimsical touch, and they don't overpower the space. They let, the green kind of shine through. These are some fun glasses from a favorite store in Charleston. Charleston, as I mentioned, is a special place to us. It's where my husband and I got married, and they're from a store called Elizabeth Stewart. My sister got them for me. I feel like everybody knows that I just love collecting glasswares and tableware, so they're picking up different pieces from their travels and bringing it to me, and I love being able to use it when I'm hosting. Okay, so now we'll come into the bar area. This is another area that we completely gutted when we were doing the kitchen. Originally, they had a dishwasher and a sink in here, and we took those out and put a wine fridge and an ice machine. We felt like those were things that we needed a little more. We redid all the cabinetry in here. One fun note about this space is, as I mentioned, I love blue and green, and I could do the whole house in those colors. We ended up testing out this Benjamin Moore color, Princeton Gold, and I am so happy that Blair pushed me to do this color because I feel like it ties in the yellow of the wallpaper in the dining room and just kind of breaks up the space as you're going from the dining room into the kitchen. And it's just a nice transition. We did some really fun knobs in here by Modern Matter, and they have these cool gemstones in them. And then another fun element are these scalloped shelves. I feel like they add a nice little touch, which we love. And then I love these herringbone tiles in the back. That was really hard for the contractor to do, but I feel like it's just a nice unexpected detail. And again, I wanted to have another place to display all of my glassware that I collect, and I feel like this kind of enables it to stand out. And I have a lot of my party hosting in this room. I have all of my Modafleur napkins down here, silverware and other bar items. It's a place that, a lot of people are gathering in and out, grabbing a drink. So it just feels fun and happy. Another funny moment is that originally we had grass cloth on these walls, and we have 2 cats, and they were using the grass cloth as a scratching post. So we had to replace the wallpaper a couple times before we decided to go with this vinyl wallpaper. And I think it's just a good muted backdrop to the bright yellow color. So we go into the breakfast nook. This is obviously where we spend a lot of time. This is the main area that my kids eat at. We like to eat here and kind of look at them playing in the backyard. And when Blair and I were designing this space with 2 young boys, we knew that we needed to have chairs that we could keep clean and that were wipeable. And Blair found these from Gabby. And I feel like they tie in the white from the light fixtures. They also add that woven rattan element that I love. And I feel like they're super functional for a family of 4 with 2 crazy boys. And originally we had a rectangular farmhouse table in this space, so we knew that we needed to replace it with an oval table that kind of fit the space better. Again, this table is from worlds away. And I decorate it sometimes for some parties. You'll see it on Instagram as well. And then the last thing that I want to mention are these botanical curtains. I love how the green and the curtains tie in the green of the kitchen. Okay, so let's go into our mudroom, which is another big entry point of the house. So even though the mudroom is a smaller space, it was important for me to, have this space still feel like part of the house and like me and be fun and whimsical as well. So this is another space that we completely tore out and started from the beginning. Originally there was a little desk here and there was all open shelving so you can kind of see everything. So with 2 boys and all their sports gear and shoes and backpacks, I knew that I wanted to have shelving that we could hide. I wanted to have, a drop zone for mail, and different odds and ends. And I wanted to have an open bench that, we could sit on when we're putting our shoes on. And it's a place that a lot of people are going in and out of when we're having parties. A lot of people use this door as well. They're dropping their bags and their coats down here. And it's a place where I do front porch pickup. So we do all of our shipping out of my house. So a lot of times I'll put orders over here, and it's just a friendly reminder that I need to take it out. But for this space, we carried the same color in the kitchen, the pigeon in here as well, so it would all kind of tie together. The wallpaper is really fun floral print by Jasper. And an area that I splurged on with this space is the light fixture. It's a Colleen Ryder light fixture that we did in custom colors. To match the pigeon color. Light fixtures kind of remind me of the jewelry to an outfit. They add like the perfect accessory to the house. So this was a fun one that I felt like worked perfectly for this space. Blair had the idea to do some open metal baskets up here to kind of break up all of the shelving and the cabinetry. And I think it's so fun. That's where we store like snow gear in there, more party supplies and holiday supplies. Let's go outside and I'll show you our screened-in porch. Welcome to my screened-in porch. Okay, so this area we also spend a lot of time in. Our kids are playing outside. So originally it had cement floors that kind of had some wear and tear on them and some stains. So when I was looking to updating this space, I was trying to find different ways to kind of freshen it up. And we were looking at maybe replacing the whole floor with tiles or new cement flooring. And it was going to be super expensive. So I thought, what's a different way that we could refresh the space? I was looking on Pinterest and I saw a photo of painted floors. So I said to Blair, how about we try to paint the floors? And we hired a local artist, Robin Campbell, to come out here and do it. It took a few iterations to get the color right. I feel like it just kind of brightens up the whole area. We painted all the trim in the ceiling to match the house. We replaced the fan out here, and then we got some new porch furniture that is durable for kids. And another fun thing is my mother-in-law loves to garden. I don't have a green thumb at all. So she did all the plants that you see out here. All right, guys, well now I'll show you my kids' playroom. So welcome to my kids' playroom. This is the cleanest that it's ever been. So for this space, it was interesting. Originally they had some funky built-ins in it that we ended up getting rid of. We replaced the carpet with a carpet from Myers Carpet here in Nashville. We wanted to have a big L couch for the kids to hang out on. We updated all the light fixtures, so we added these fun basket lanterns. We added this ottoman from Oomph and got it recovered in this cheetah print fabric, which I think is so fun. With a playroom, we really just wanted to have fun with this space because we knew it would be for kids. And Blair and I, since it's such a big space and it's over the garage, we wanted to break up all of the gray walls that you see in here, and we did a blue Sister Parish wallpaper back there that I think is really cool. Another thing that Blair and her team helped me with are all these cabinets that you see in the back wall. So since there isn't a closet up here in the playroom, I needed a place to hide all of their toys and art supplies. And Blair and her team really came up with a cool way to frame this back wall. We wanted to have some open shelves that we could style and have stuff that they could easily grab. And then a lot of their art supplies and other toys and games are hidden in these cabinetries. Another thing that we wanted to add was having a desk that overlooked the window of the backyard. This is where they do a lot of their art projects and homework. One of my favorite parts of the playroom is this little nook. We put a bench over here with some drawers where we keep their books. They'll read over here, bring their stuffed animals. We have these fun lanterns from Rochambeau. I think it's just such a cute, cozy space. The last thing that I want to show you up in the playroom is the playroom bathroom. We also did a full gut job in this bathroom. We replaced, the light fixtures, added a pedestal sink, and then we added this fun wallpaper, which is Lulu Wallace. It's always a talking point whenever kids come over here. They just love looking at it and always have a comment about it. So I've always had a love for fashion since I was a little girl. And it was a career that I was a little bit nervous to go into. So after I graduated from college, I went into advertising instead of fashion. And I worked in advertising for quite a while. And then we moved to Nashville and we had our first son. And I was unhappy in my job. And my husband was like, why don't you take a break and think about what you really want to do? And after about a year, I decided to start my own business and really needed a creative outlet. So at first I started with jewelry. It was a simple way to sell something out of my home. It was easy to ship out. It was low cost. But the end goal was always to do clothing. Clothing was always where my passion was. So after a couple of years, I launched into clothing, and it's been a whirlwind since then. And I've just been so happy doing that. And it's something that I really could feel that creative passion with and lean into. I'm inspired by traveling, for one. I love to go to Europe. I was just in Spain for my birthday with a bunch of friends. My husband and I have been to Italy a couple times. I'm also inspired by nature and flowers. When you're walking throughout our house, you'll see that I have flowers incorporated in all of the decor. Flowers are always a big element of my tablescapes that I do, and they're a source of inspiration for the clothing. A lot of times we'll pick out fabrics that have florals in them or have floral elements. Being in this house, I knew that I had to be creative and fun. I work out of my house every day. The business is run out of the house, so I wanted to have a creative space that could fuel my passion. And this is my study, also known as Modafleur headquarters in my office. So this space, I feel like this space we didn't do a ton of work to. We really kind of liked it how it was. We painted the room in Fairball light blue. And so the other main thing that we did in this space is the fireplace. There was kind of some weird bows that were on the fireplace that we removed. So we redid the mantle so it was a little more chic and modernized. We painted the back dark. One of my husband's requests for this room is that we kept this fireplace wood burning. He's obsessed with wood burning fireplaces. And I'm so glad he did, because when we have snow days in Nashville, you'll find my two boys huddled around here getting warmed up. With this fireplace, we also replaced the surround, and we did a really pretty marble. Originally we didn't know that this space would be my office, but it has become where I do most of my work. My team will come over here and we'll have meetings. We do fit meetings in this room. It's where I'm working most of the time, so it has kind of turned into my office and where I spend most of my days. We did this really pretty blue couch by Lee Industries in a soft velvet. One thing that Blair and I try to do is incorporate interesting details within the furniture and throughout the house. And that's something that I try to do with my brand and my clothing line as well. So I just love this really cool fringe that we put on these pillows. And then we matched it over here to the drapes. So you'll see we have that same fringe down there. And Blair helped pick out these really pretty drapes that have different floral elements in it, something that I love and that I'm inspired by. And then another really cool thing that Blair found, one of her friends owns a company in New Orleans called BViz, and they have these antique tapestries. And this Suzanne one she found, and I just was obsessed with all the colors. I just love the red, the gold, and the blue, and just the different textures in it. And I think that it really kind of ties together the room and also the rest of the house. We have the gold light fixture in here. This room is very heavily, has the blue color in it as well, and then green. So these are the prominent colors in this room, and I think this piece kind of brings it all together. One thing that I wasn't planning on when we moved into the house was having our clothing rack here, but it's become a permanent fixture in this room. I'm rotating out the different clothes, but usually it's different pieces that we're working on that we have, that we either need to fit or that are coming out. So we have some items from our upcoming spring line, our fall line as well, and winter and holiday too. So a lot of times when people come into my house, they get a little preview of the next collection that's supposed to come out. If we're doing a shopping event here, I'll have this rack decked out with anything that's shoppable, and we have a mirror here for people to try stuff on. Another couple fun things that I wanted to mention about this space are this bamboo stool, and then this bamboo game table, which is another antique piece from Virginia Richardson. And I just think it's so cool. I've set it up as a bar, so when we're having a different, a Modafleur shopping event, people can come in and grab a drink. And then this piece of art was sourced by a friend and a stylist in Nashville, Colton Horton, and she got it at an antique market in France, and I just think it's so cool and different. And then obviously we have our dress form here with different samples. This is a dress from our fall line. It's one of our top selling dresses. It's the Ashton, and we keep bringing it back every season in a different style. So it's one of the main ones that I like to highlight. This is my desk. This is where I mainly work at every day. We have my mood board, with different fabrics that we're considering. We're always going through fabrics and trying to make selections. I just love kind of being in this space with an open window. It just feels comforting, and I'm able to get a lot of inspiration here, and I have everything accessible. And while it feels like an office, it was really important to me that it still looked nice, because it's one of the main rooms when you walk into our house. So I feel like Blair and I really executed that well. So home to me means comfort. I want to feel happy in my house. I have 2 sons, and we're in the house a lot. We're playing in the yard. We have neighbors over here all the time. My husband and I are not from Nashville, so we don't have family in town. So we want our home to be comforting and welcoming. We want people to want to stay here for a long time and just enjoy their time here in this space. Homeworthy, was so great having you. I have a big clothing fit meeting to get to, so thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.